Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody out there in podcast land. You are in tune to another episode of Intrinsic Motivation from a Homie's Perspective. This is Hamza, and I am super excited for our guest today. For longtime listeners of the show, you know, we try to cover the gamut. We have woo-woo, we have science-based, and everything in between. And I believe our guest is actually going to merge those two together wonderfully. And I'd like to tell a little bit about her story before we bring her on, because I found it quite interesting, and I think there's nothing better than this introduction about her background. And so within a 3-year period, she experienced the deaths of her mother, her son, and her husband in separate automobile accidents. And while she had studied shamanism before her son's accident, she and her husband actually experienced their son's consciousness after his death for an extended period of time. And these experiences completely changed their lives. It actually was the impetus for her first book, The Miracle of Death, There Is Nothing But Life. And it talks about the altered states of consciousness. And after her retirement, she began an intensified period of research into our ancestors' experience on a vaster consciousness, the cosmic or Christ consciousness, which she relates in her book, The Merchants of Light, the consciousness that is changing the world, which became the winner of the Nautilus Silver Book Award and the Scientific and Medical Network 2019 Book Prize. And so some people rested on their laurels in 2019 and right off to the sunset. Not our guest. Her latest book is The Miracle of Death, There Is Nothing But Life. I'm sure you're tired of me yapping on because you want to hear about this wonderful author that we have, Dr. Betty Kovach. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Betty.
Thank you, Hamza. Thank you.
Yes. I was really interested in speaking with you because, like I mentioned, we do try to cover the gamut, and from an intrinsic motivation, it's where you can get it. And with your background, you have a traditional background, but you also are in this world where we would consider, some would consider woo-woo. I think in 2020 or maybe the next couple of years, woo-woo will not have the slight frown. I think it'll become more mainstream. It seems like it's picking up steam, and it seems like you're in the right place at the right time, as we all are.
Yes. Well, yes. I think since the discovery of quantum physics in the early part of the last century, woo-woo was on its way out. Now, even a lot of scientists haven't really realized that because scientists are very focused on special experimentation, special aspects of reality. But the scientists all around the world for the last 50 or 60 years have been discovering connections and relationships that the earlier science had not known until the development of quantum physics. And the very people who discovered quantum physics knew that there was a new science in the horizon because they knew that they could not understand this science unless they went to the sacred text of the past. They did. They couldn't figure it all out, but scientists today are. We're told that it usually takes 100 years for a new worldview to emerge. We don't have that kind of time. We need to continue. But the last one is The Merchants of Light, and that really, I think, is a guide to helping us understand our species in its effort to evolve and what has gone wrong and how we can help that. So both books can be purchased any place where books are sold or e-books, and they can also be purchased through the Kamlak Center. That's KAMLAK.com. And also there are other things on that, things, podcasts I've done, and interviews and articles and things like that. So, yes, we're all in this together. And I've heard from people from so many places, and it's encouraged me when I see what they're doing and how they've responded to this.
Yes, definitely. Very exciting times. And with that, you have just been in tune to another episode of Intrinsic Motivation from a Homie's Perspective. This is Hamza and Dr. Betty Kovach. It was a pleasure, and let's stay in touch for sure.
Yes, please. You asked wonderful questions, and I thank you for that. It was a pleasure altogether.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.